Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Champions Cup. This one a crucial one in Pool 3, as this pretty much determines who makes their way through to the next stage in the round of 16 of the Champions Cup. The current way that the group stage sits for this stage, or this group, I use the same words many times, but the Stormers are sitting in third place on 9 points at this current point. Leicester Tigers are sitting on 5 points and they are in 5th. So for the Tigers, they have to win this game. And you'd have to say that they need a pretty comfortable win to be able to get themselves a spot in the top 4. Now, the Challenge Cup is still well and truly secured for whoever finishes 5th. Bayonne will not be able to beat Leinster, maybe in general, but they definitely will not be beating them by the points differential margin that they would need to get out of 6th place. So for the Stormers, though, if they win this game, they have the potential of going as high as maybe second qualifier, if not first, if they can win it by an absolutely huge margin too. But looking through the starting lineups, they are back to stacked for this match in the Stormers department. They did go a little bit more experimental for their match last week, in which they did lose by a massive margin up against the Harlequins, but they've got some box back now. They've got a captain in Sasha Feinberg Ngumezulu, and they've got a young, dangerous attack inside. Ntatuku Machunu in the front row alongside Andre Hugo Finta and Nedling Fauchier. Starting in at 3, JD Schikkeling and Ruben van Heeren will be the number 5, with Paul de Villiers, Ben Jason Dixon and Evan Roos as the loose forward trio. That is a dangerous 3. I will also mention, recently in the news, Evan Roos extending his contract with the Stormers. So the questions of what does Kolesi going to the Stormers do for these other Stormers loose forwards? Well, they book in the contract as well, and having Sia Kolesi and Evan Roos as a loose forward trio option alongside maybe either Ben Jason Dixon or Paul de Villiers as that number 7, it's going to be absolutely incredible for the Stormers side. Stephen Nkura as the number 9, with Sasha Feinberg and Ngumezulu as the 10, Jonathan Roach and also Hudson Berg in the midfield, Lelion Zas, Dylan Mudd and also Similani as that number 15. So a pretty strong Stormers side. A few players missing in the overall scheme of things, such as a Damien Willems, although he was dealing with a couple injury concerns from the last match. I assume that that's why they've left him out for this contest as well. Looking through at this lineup for Leicester now, they are missing a few of those normal players that you would like to see, such as a Freddie Stewart or a James O'Connor, but still a pretty decent makeshift team here for the Leicester Tigers. In the front row, it is Heffer, Blamire, and also Hurd as the number 3. Thompson and Wells make up the locking duo with Joaquin Moro, Sam Williams and Ollie Cracknell slotting in as the number 8. In the 9-10 combination, it is Whiteley alongside Searle, Woodward, Ward and Wand as the... Tell you what, that's a tongue twister and a half. Wood, Ward and Will Wand, they are the centre pairing. Ollie Hassel-Collins out on the left wing, Hammer Webb out on the other, and Pearson at number 15. Looking through at the comments just before we get towards this match. Can only watch the game live on DSTV. Says Jeffy, it does seem to be the option in South Africa. For us here in New Zealand, we've got the option of watching it on EPCR TV, which has been running relatively smoothly. Today I'm just here for the pronunciation, says Samuel. Is there any other games that are on at the same time as this one? There certainly is. The other Champions Cup game that has taken place at the time that this one is Bayonne versus Leinster. That is the other contest happening simultaneously, so we'll keep you updated with that one. There's also a Challenge Cup game happening around the corner as well. I wait till Hamish learns about Edward Woodward, says Big Wig. I feel like Big Rig, I should say. Stormer says Juan Pierre Bosch. And all the way from Vietnam, I believe that is from Tristan. So it is greatly appreciated you tuning in for this match. Ferrari is going for the Stormers. And Sky Island showing Bayonne's game. Says Jimbo there too. And it looks like a great afternoon at Cape Town Stadium. It was mentioned earlier on that there might be a little bit of wind to deal with for the players. But the sun is out. A little bit of cloud in the background. So it might be on and off in terms of the sunshine. But that's not exactly a bad thing. The Stormers side, they have been up and down in just recent form. But they are for sure looking like a real contender, not just for the Champions Cup, but also for the URC. We look here, this is their recent game up against the Harlequins. They lost by 51 points, but before then, they were on a massive winning streak. This Stormers side, they are undefeated in the URC, currently sitting top of the table with a game in hand as well, so that is thoroughly impressive. They were able to beat the Bulls in just their recent URC meeting, and they've got a couple South African derbies around the corner to take part in for this side as well. For the Leicester Tigers, they were able to beat the Saracens in the Premiership game, 36 points to 28. Had a great win over Bayern. So one of these sides coming off a big victory, one of them coming off a large defeat. And as you can see there, the Leicester Tigers, they are pretty big underdogs heading into this match. I think that would have been a little bit closer on the odds had they had the likes of Stewart and O'Connor, but still a very decent young team that should be able to get maybe something done in this match up against the Stormers. Next game's up against the Quins. That's always awesome when those two sides play. We'll have to keep a close eye on that contest, and then Northampton the week after. So it doesn't get very easy for Leicester because, yes, the Quins are ranked 8th in the Premiership, but that doesn't really mean a lot as a side that really are very unpredictable at the moment, the way they play. But this is the way that the table sits. As you can see there, Leicester are sitting in a valuable position of 5th place. A win in the next round up against the Harlequins could progress them right up to maybe even as high as 3rd. If not, well, they'd have to do a lot to get into 2nd, but 3rd place more likely. So that is why we're seeing a bit more experimentation from them in this contest. For the Stormers, it's the one that makes a lot of people happy when they see this one, but the way that it sits, the Stormers, they are undefeated. 8 wins from 8 and a brilliant start to this URC season. They would love nothing more than to make it a double with the Champions Cup involved too. And currently, we do see one South African side in the Bulls looking relatively confirmed in the round of 16. Of course, things can still change depending on what happens in that Scarlets versus Northampton game. But for now, it looks like we're going to see one side in the Champions Cup round of 16. Maybe another South African side here if the Stormers can do the job. We have got there is this A side that is stacked unlike last time. Sears, Cats and L. So in terms of the Stormers, this is closer to their A side, although still a couple absentees from this lineup, the likes of a Damien Valimba, but when it comes to injuries, I feel like you can't really hold that against the team, if that makes sense. Like, they've selected the best possible players outside of the injured guys who aren't available. Sorry, Hamish, the lineup is done now. I thought it was 5:30 kickoff. Apologies. Says, hey, no worries at all. What I will do is I will quickly download that and get it as the background for this stream. 1 second. We'll go like that. We'll go here, visual effects, and we'll add it as the background. But do let me know your score predictions for this game, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a bit undecided, but I do think that the Stormers by 20 is the prediction that I'm going with. Now, whether or not I'm right, I can tell you right now I won't be. Terrible with the predictions, but I feel like the Leicester Tigers may shock some people with the early stages of the contest. They may get going, and I'd like to see them compete. Where can we watch? It is EPCR TV. To be able to watch it is 11,598 New Zealand dollars too much for a camera in your view. Depends on what you're using the camera for, I would say. Like, if you're really into your photography and that's what you want to do, like with your life, then you probably do want to get a fancy one. If you're just doing it to take a picture of like a tree, but you don't like photography, then I would say you probably get away with like a $100 little flip phone. We have got the Stormers 35-21, 12 for Leicester. Stormers by a stack full, and Stormers 41-17. Has Leicester ever won the Champions Cup before? They haven't won the Champions Cup, but they have won the Premiership. They were actually a very dangerous side only a couple years ago, the Leicester Tigers, and to be honest, they are still a very dangerous team. Leicester have sent a dodgy team. Says Flesh, and they have. Once again, a little bit similar to what we saw La Rochelle send to Cape Town. It means that when you're at home, you get a nice easy run. When you're away from home, it's a pretty tough one because the young players do have to step up. Getting back to winning ways again, says Gary. Yeah, I think that game up against the Harlequins, I've called it an outlier in terms of a graph of what the Stormers side have done throughout their season. It's not what we're going to see a lot of in terms of a loss by 50 points. In fact, we're not even going to see many losses, I don't think, throughout the season with the way that they have been playing. Sasha has been on fire. He also gets the opportunity to captain his side for this match. We'll have to wait and see how he does there. Anyone wondering about the sevens as well? That is taking place. Hong Kong are playing Colombia at the moment. The score for that game is 31 points to 10. I think they are running a couple minutes behind at the moment in terms of the overall scheduling of the sevens, as Samoa versus Tonga is due to kick off in the very near future. 2001 and 2002 Leicester. Oh, really? For the Champions Cup. See, I really don't know my history of back that far, but impressive to do it 2 years in a row. Not many sides are able to do that. I know that Toulouse have done it more recently. Leicester have sent, oh no, I read that one, didn't I? 40 points to 12 in favour of the Stormers, says Jeff. Both of these sides getting ready to go. Only the 5 minutes away from the kickoff in this contest. Now, I will also mention in terms of not just what is to come for these two sides, but I mentioned a lot about what the Stormers can gain from this contest. And I do still feel we need to mention Leicester. If they were to somehow get themselves the bonus point win and stop the Stormers from scoring 4 tries or more, there is actually a very low mathematical chance that the Stormers could be out of the Champions Cup. Now, the chance of that happening, like I mentioned, very low. But theoretically, if the Leicester Tigers, in fact, even if they didn't win this game with a bonus point, but they stopped the Stormers from getting one, they would move ahead of them. Even if, in fact, I'm just doing all the maths in my head, if the Leicester Tigers won this game with a bonus point and the Stormers got 1 bonus point, they would still go ahead of them in the overall standings. And then if La Rochelle were able to get themselves the win over the Harlequins, then they would progress ahead. So that is the worst case physically possible for the Stormers, but the more likely is they will move up into second and they will book themselves their spot to the round of 16. I think there needs to be a point reduction if teams are going to send these weak teams. Why should we have to pay to stream both games if the clubs are not bothered? Says Fleshin. It is true. Like, it is always unfortunate when, like, sides do go experimental in their other games. And I feel like it's something that South African sides take a lot of stick for, even though every side seem to do it, or a majority of them do. Like, I see it all the time on social media, people going, oh, if South African teams are going to send B teams, then they shouldn't be in the competition. But it's like, literally today, for instance, we saw a French side send a B team. We see the Leicester Tigers send their B team. Any side that's away from home in this competition, with the exception of maybe about 3 or 4 who want to book themselves that higher seed, have sent experimental sides. But I only see the South African sides getting stick for it, which I don't understand. But I think that's just because they're the new kids on the block in regards to this competition, and people don't want them to win it. But they might have a good chance. Definitely if the Stormers make their way through. Box fans complaining about something, never Hamish. No, it's the fans against the Box complaining. Like, the Box fans are the ones taking the stick for sending experimental sides when every team does it. And we have got the O'Connor. He was in the thumbnail, lol. He was. It just made sense, Sasha and O'Connor as that thumbnail battle, but sadly not playing in this contest. I did make it early on in the week, so I did get set up slightly and didn't have time to change it. And Stormers play their best team at home. Very difficult to beat. Thanks for calling the games, Hamish. You call it so well. Says Sue, thank you very much. And we have got there as well, make respect, 4:15 a.m. Yeah, early morning start for us here in New Zealand. We've just finished that last game taking place between the Sharks and Clermont. Tomorrow night, we're going to be up again with plenty more games. I mentioned about it on the last live stream. We are hoping to cover Glasgow versus Saracens, but there is a chance I won't be able to, as I might be pouring concrete during that match. So it all depends on what time we can get concrete for. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what happens there. But there is a match taking place in the sevens as well at the same time. Samoa versus Tonga just about to kick off. We will be telling you exactly who is winning that game. A bit of a different looking Samoan side compared to what we saw in the old Seven circuit, but a very similar looking strong Stormers side to the ones that we have seen win in Cape Town before throughout the URC. No, I'm not blaming South African teams. The French have done it before the South African teams came in. Yeah, I do agree with you though in terms of the fact that it does feel like that for me, the Champions Cup seems like it should be the better one because it's like you show that you're the best team in Europe, but then they don't see it that way. Sides go, oh, well, we've got our individual competitions we have to do well in, so they concentrate on that. It's rough. They either need to work out a way of making it so that the Champions Cup takes place outside of the top 14 and URC and Premiership seasons, or they need to just find a way of making sure that sides do go a little bit more. We have got there, get your mother to stand in for you. Surely she can manage. Well, she'll be working as well. So sadly, she'll be unavailable for that one. Up the Magpies, says Nazi Williams, and Leinster have always done it. One team for the URC, one for the Champions Cup, says Jimbo. I guess in football you see that a little bit as well, don't you? In terms of like if you're playing in the FA Cup or something, sometimes sides will go more with their experimental teams. But I think it's just the fact that, sadly, in rugby, we don't have the same depth as some of those football sides do, because you need 23 players at the end of the day to make up the lineup, and that's pretty difficult. Rugby Europe has messed this up as much as the Sevens has been messed up, says Fleshen. But now this game just about to kick off. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, do let me know who you think will win this contest. The Stormers are at home. They are coming off a loss, but I don't think that will impact them too much. Different players. Sasha's at the helm. And he is always a dangerous threat to the opposition. Champions Cup is to show off your best skills. Best teams play each other. Champions meet champions, says Kahu. And now the kickoff has just got underway. Sasha kicks from left to right in Cape Town. It is a sunny afternoon game by the looks of it. And it's going to be slapped back by the Leicester Tigers. They are inside of their own 22. The last thing that this young Tigers side need is an early try against them, like we saw the Sharks do up against Clermont. Now rolling this one back, it will be Tom Whiteley. Let's look for the sideline. And does manage to find it. And go the Western Suburbs Magpies, says JD. I think 30 seconds into the game. And just in the 30 seconds, we have already seen Samoa actually score in the Sevens match that they are playing up against the Tongans. They are looking in great form at the moment, more than likely. Making it through to the semi-finals to take on... Who was it? I saw it before and now I've forgotten. It will be Belgium that they have to face. Oh, Sasha dropping that ball. It's going to be the knock-on advantage in favour of the Leicester Tigers, who have now got possession just inside of their own half. Big tackle made by Ruben van Heeren. Looks like he may have hurt himself in the process of making that tackle. Would it be a huge upset if they beat the Stormers, says Kahu? Huge upset. They were considered as $7.25 underdogs, which actually progressed out to about $9 underdogs closer to kickoff. Any Kiwis in the Leicester team? Not that I recognise. In this case, there may be a sneaky one in there somewhere, but not that I can pick out of their lineup. Nicely taken under the high ball. Sasha Feinberg and Zulu down the short side. Goes to Stephen Nkura. Chipping behind. Sasha's chasing. If this ball bounces nicely, it should be the try, but it's taken well by the Leicester Tigers. They are only 5 metres out from their line and under huge pressure coming in from this Stormers side. It's going to be now the 5 metre scrum. And it's not quite the position on the field that this Leicester Tigers team want to find themselves in this early. Ngura going for the kick in behind. And Sasha was chasing hard, but it was well covered by George Pearson in the end. Managed to cut across. Managed to shut it down, but the threat is not done. Evan Rus off the back of a scrum can be extremely dangerous. Just talking about that Premiership debut only a few weeks ago for Pearson. James got a quarter pounder Kiwi. Says JD, I guess so, although sadly not playing. That thumbnail was a little bit deceptive as I made it earlier on in the week, but yeah, sadly not there for the Leicester Tigers in this game. Would have loved to see him go up against Sasha though. That's Drew Cantab, says James. Says Nazi Williams. What would be a bigger upset? Beating, that's a penalty, goes the way of the Leicester Tigers at scrum time, collapsing against the Stormers. So Tigers beating the Stormers or Bayern beating Leicester. Bigger upset would be Leicester Tigers beating Stormers. Even though Bayern in terms of their table where they sit, you'd think it would be them. But because of them having home field advantage, it gives them a slight edge over a side that's playing away from home way over in South Africa compared to playing in England. And come on, the Stormers, there's Key in there. No, Dan says JD, yeah, that is a big call early on going against the Stormers side. Now ready to throw it in. It's taken by the Stormers. Andre Hugo Fenter. Now Nkura. Big skip pass. Misses his man, but it's picked up by Hudson-Berg. Scarlett's beating the Saints. That would be a big upset as well. James O'Connor, excellent in his youth. Today, not so much, says Jeff J. Says Jeff rather than Jeff J. Turnover again there for the Leicester Tigers. Been a few times in this match already throughout the first 4 minutes that we have seen them end up with possession. Times that you wouldn't really expect it, but now backline here for the Tigers. Can they get it going? Leicester, they've got some speed in their backline, And it's going to be Will Ward. Now goes on the outside. Little chipper behind, attempted by George Pearson. That one's going to sit up awkwardly. It's going to be slapped back by the Stormers into their in-goal area. Sasha under pressure. He has to kick this one, but he decides against it. Asks for the penalty from the referee. Oh, and a bit of push and shove there too. I'm not sure what has happened there, but Sasha not happy about getting thrown to the ground in the tackle. And now it's all kicking off. There's a man who looks like Caelan Doris in this Leicester Tigers team, and he is going head-to-head with Andre Hugo Fenta, who pulled him down to the ground, and now he's got him in full mount. I'm not sure what the tactic was there from Andre Hugo Fenta, whether that was to try and milk a penalty or whether he loves his jiu-jitsu and wanted to get him in a guillotine. But the referee's going to have to take control of this one from the get-go. Right, captains are getting called over, and one of them is the one who started the fight in Sasha Feinberg Ungamazulu. Oh, 2 blue, 5 green, both getting called over too. Okay, it's been cleared by the TMO that it was not a high tackle on Sasha, which was what he was complaining about initially. Okay. It's going to be a 5-meter line out here, so we're going to see it now. So he got hit as he was going down to ground, Sasha. And then from there, he really yanked the neck of the Leicester Tigers player. And then Andre Hugo Fenta, he was getting involved with Caelan Doris 2.0. And then from there, he wasn't happy about him grabbing him. And yeah, that didn't quite work for Andre Hugo Fenta. He tried to drag him down and flick him to his side, but then ended up underneath him. Send them all off and bollocks to jiu-jitsu. They can't do takedowns. That was a judo throw. Says Flesh. I think it was more... Wait, jiu-jitsu, you're allowed to... You work from your ground, though, don't you? In terms of, like, they like being on their back. Hoist Gracie-like. But not quite from Andre Hugo Fenta. Let's go Cape Town. Says we have got there Johan Lavaskachny. Oh, time is going to be called off. HIA for number 1. That is for Untutuku Machuno. I'm not sure what shot he's taken. Okay, he is very confused by the looks of it here. 17 makes his way onto the field. We're not sure what it was that caused the injury, but Vernon Matongo, he makes his way on. Felt that sitting here at Sasha. Says JD. And come on, Stormers, you have to shout, says Bruce. Now 5 minutes already passing in this game. Tangi wrecking balling Leinster. He is a monster. That's Luke Tangi, isn't it? Oh, we see the collision there. To be fair, they were saying shoulder-to-shoulder first tackle. Second one looked like it was shoulder to the head. I'm surprised I've missed that. And now it is going to be a 5-meter. Now they're going to show a replay again before we get to the scrum. The crowd are not happy about it. Uh-oh. Okay, now they're going to check it. So had it not been for that HIA of Untutuku Machunu, they would not have gone back to look at that one. And because they are going back to look at it, it looks like this is no longer going to be Leicester Tigers' ball. And which part of the field are they playing now? Well, they were 5 metres out from the line, but they found something that happened 55 metres down the field that they are now going to go back to. Yeah, BJJ is the worst thing to happen to martial arts. JJJ is way better, as a system says affliction. So yeah, they're going to say shoulder to the head from Will Hurd. And it does mean that Leicester Tigers have gone from being in a very good position on the field on attack to now having to defend within their own half and more than likely a man down in this scenario as well. Samoa, they are doing very well in their game up against the Tongans. They are winning 24-0 in the Sevens match. They're saying there's a bit of mitigation there, so it might end up being a yellow card. Yes, it is. 3 green, Will Hurd. He's going to make his way from the field for 10 minutes, and it gives the Stormers a penalty in Leicester's half. Have to wait to see whether or not Untutuku Machunu can make his way back out onto the field. He will have to pass the HIA first, though. What I will quickly do, I normally have it up the other game. Bayonne versus Leinster is currently taking place. I will go split screen so that we can see exactly what is happening in that contest as well. Yeah, a bit of an intriguing one early. I feel like Leicester, once again, similar to what we saw in the last contest for Clermont, you cannot afford to be 14 on the field up against the side who are heavy favourites against you. It's just a recipe for a little bit of disaster, and that is what we could see here early on. That's a great kick from Sasha Feinberg. Ngumea Zulu sitting about 20 metres out from the line, in fact closer to 15 now. Currently in the Bayonne versus Leinster game. They are 10 minutes into the contest, 0-0 between the two. That stupid dumb female on the field amongst the ruckus. 425. Stupid dumb female. Who's that unbiased? I'm confused at who it is. Unless it's one of the assistant referees that you're trying to say. Oh, that's going to be overthrown and picked up by the Tigers again. Paul de Villiers, though, locking over the ball. Could be a turnover for him. No, he's been told to let it go. Very close to being able to get the steal there, but the Leicester Tigers now having to look for a clearing kick here. Rolling it back. Being told to use it. Tom Whiteley. Already a decent clearing kick earlier on. Well, there's a lot to unpack there. There really is. Who's the ref, says Kahu. The referee in charge of this one is it Rosier? His last name. I can't think of his first name, though. Unless it's Pierre Brosset. It's one of those two. Right, the time is off here again. Okay, referee has pretty much said to the Stormers, I don't want you having a team chat beforehand. Yellow cards ruining contests again, says Jeff A. But yeah, pretty much told the Stormers to hurry up and get into line-out position. Another one where, Leicester have put them under pressure. That was almost an illegal clean-out. Now breaking the line. Jonathan Roach, he's got players with him. He goes to Paul de Villiers. Sits 5 metres out from the line. Evan Roos tries to reach out and he scores the try for the Stormers. He leaps up. John Dobson, why does he look so angry? His team's just scored. But Evan Roos, he will score the first try of the matchup. He's done very well. He was considered as one of the favourites to score in this contest. I did see when I was looking through at the odds. We have got there, how about Leinster's ref? Says Kahu, and also try. Says Big Rig there. But a break of the line from Jonathan Roach, doing extremely well. Then getting that pass off to Paul de Villiers. Look for the pop pass up to Evan Roos, who had it just 1 metre out from the line. It's only a game, why you have to be mad? Says Big Rig. And the try. And there, but that one has gone over from Sasha Feinberg and Ngumea Zulu, making the score 7-0 now in favour of the Stormers. Jonathan Roach, some great pace shown there from him. And popping that ball up to Evan Roos. He manages to slam it down over the try line. Just about, got the grounding before it did come free. The crowd absolutely loving it too. Knowing that was a crucial try early. Was it a difficult kick? No, straight out in front of the post. Who scored, says Mohadeen? It was Evan Roos. Making the score now 7-0. Similani taking that one inside of the 22. And that ball's been dropped there. Leicester Tigers now bundling their way towards the try line. That is a huge mistake to make, though, from Similani in the breakdown. Although I think it was down to the clean out as well from the Stormers teammates. Ended up knocking that ball free, now looking right hand side. In fact, no, they'll go left now. Into the hands of the captain, Ollie Cracknell. Across to the right once more. Just picking the next pass. Tigers know that they may have not too many opportunities to attack inside of the 22 while they're down to 14, so they have to make the most of them. They've gone for the cross kick out wide now. Nicely claimed, offloaded on the inside, but it goes back into the hands of Roach. He's got plenty of pace, as he showed from that last line break. Similani tackled inside of the 22 again. As the ref dishing out that early yellow card was something that a pen would have been okay, has killed the game already, says Fleshton. I mean, it certainly killed the momentum for the Tigers, the fact that they went back about 55 metres. But now Evan Roos, again looking to go through, but a good low tackle made by Ollie Hassel-Collins. How's the Stormers captain? Who's the Stormers captain? I assume that is, and it is Sasha Feinberg and Ngumea Zulu. in this match. Never a card says, hey, no, hello, says Conrad. Is it Conrad? Or, yeah, it might be actually. Conrad de Vries, is it? Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I probably butchered it though, so I do apologise for that. Moving up to the halfway line. Stormers sitting 40. So, meters back now with Sasha kicking downfield. Manages to pierce the gap between the two Leicester cover defenders. Hello, Freeze. Says Conrad there. And also we have got there Dunky Russ says Ref. Or sorry, says Jeff, I should say. One's going to be kicked into touch. Only Samoa are leading in the sevens match. 24 points to 5 over Tonga. And try for Bayern. Yeah, taking the lead in that contest. We're in the dark green. That looks like, is that Villamoni? No, that's not Villamoni Botito, is it? Who is it who's managed to score that one? He looks so familiar. He's in the Fijian setup, but I can't think of who that was. And it's going to annoy me now. Was it Botito? Botito doesn't normally play 13 though, does he? Who scored that try? Jimbo, let me know. Thank you for your commentary, says Conrad. No worries at all. Looks like a player is down at the moment. Bit of an injury here for Huffer. I just got evidence. Hamish is the new All Blacks coach. A wet rat here. What did I miss? Justin. I love to meet that smartass that told me, mate, become a gardener. OMG rain cold here, says Dennis. You know, that wouldn't have been, Sareli Mangwala, was it? But yeah, gardening in the rain doesn't sound like the best job out there, but, little bit of a pump fake there from Andre Hugofenta at the line out. So it does mean now that Leicester Tigers have got themselves the free kick. Looks like the plan here is going to be, I see Tyke Furlong going off the field already. Is that for an HIA, Jimbo? It seems a bit early for him to be going off if it's not. It's kicked high. Chasing after it. Knocked on by Dylan Mart. Ball bounces back into the hands of Wells. Passed across to the right-hand side. Skip pass over the top. Now, Hammerweb. Got plenty of pace. Just like most of this Leicester Tigers backline. Great steal and the breakdown from Jonathan Roach. He's having a field day out there at the moment. Jonathan Roach, he's already had an assist of a try, or at least it seemed like an assist. It really was because of his line break that it was created, and now getting in there and winning the turnover for his side as well for not releasing. Although, to be fair, Hudson-Berg also could get credit for that one. Both men had their hands on the ball. Now, Sasha Feinberg and Zulu again puts that ball into touch. Sitting currently 12 and a half minutes in this contest. Just wonder whether or not there is another try right on the horizon. Andre Hugofenta throws in, taken by Ben Jason Dixon. Hamish, you don't say. You look tired, Hamish. Don't make a mistake at the building tomorrow, says Mohiddin. I don't feel long off. He was injured last week, maybe feeling it. So, yeah, that's a big change to have early on for Leinster. Again, down by the 7. Now, that looked like Evan Russ might have a bit of an injury here too. He does not look happy at the moment. Looks like maybe a rib or something in his midsection. He was actually getting assessed by the medic only about 2 minutes ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ruiz makes his way off the field in the near future, just in case they want to make sure that he is injury-free heading into the next one. Although now he's breaking the line here. Evan Ruiz thought about the inside ball to Sasha, but just couldn't quite free it up. And Leinster says, hey, no there. And hi, Hamish. I all says Wild Lobster. And there as well. Now off to the left. Drop ball by Hudson-Berg, but sits up into the hands of Similani. Avoids the ankle tap, but gets the inside pass to Ben Jason Dixon. Paul de Villiers goes on the outside to Hudson-Berg. Just slips through the fingers. In fact, it was Lilian Sass waiting out on the wing that time, and they'll go back for the penalty. And also, you've got the about Leinster and how long is the game on. So at the moment, the game is sitting 13 minutes in. And currently, the Stormers are leading 7-0. Just the one try for Evan Russ at this stage of the match. One try in the Bayern Leinster game too. Sareli Mungwala has managed to score it. Yeah, Evan Russ is down again. He's just tried to take a tablet of some sort. He's dropped it on the grass. He's picked it back up and he's put it in his mouth and swallowed it. So hopefully that's going to help him. I don't know what he'd need that tablet for. Maybe for some... Wouldn't be a painkiller. Maybe? I don't know. Are you allowed to take painkillers in rugby? like during the game. I know that they're allowed to in cricket, like in terms of like it was something light, like not like a hard drug. Who's kicking, says Mohadeen. So for the Stormers in this game, they have got Sasha off the kicking tee. So he had a nice easy one out in front of the post for his first kick of the day. Now Andre Hugafenta ready to throw this ball in. They are 5 metres out from the opposition line. A good position to be. 13 seconds remaining of the yellow card. Back says the real bad boy. Yeah, I hope you are doing well. You've missed the Evan Ruiz try, but that is all. And now an Andre Hugafenta try 2 is added into the mix as the Stormers score their second in this game. Crowd happy with it as well. They will just check this line out. They always do in terms of how the player lands and whether it's all being binded correctly for the maul. It does look like Samoa, they have booked themselves the spot through to the semi-final where they will take on Belgium in the next stage of the competition for the sevens. I will mention that the South African ladies have also booked themselves their spot through. They are playing Poland in the group stage, in the semi-final. I'm hoping to cover that game tomorrow at 9:25 a.m. South African time. Is it in Cape Town? It certainly is. And they are storming towards a bonus point at the moment. Well done, the Stormers, says Herbert there. Chance for Sasha. This kick a lot more difficult right out on the touchline. Kick success at the moment for Sasha is sitting 100%. And that one's just missed away to the right-hand side. Keeps the score at 12 points to 0. Favour of the Stormers. The try for Evan Ruiz and the try for Andre Hugafenta at this point in time. Just on that short side doing nicely. Ollie Hazel Collins, it was always going to be difficult to be able to stop him. And on the other side of the draw, I will mention it is Hong Kong, China versus Canada as the other match of semi-finals for the men. Will Hurd has made his way back out onto the park. 2 tries scored during that period. Kick downfield. Taken by the Tigers. George Pearson now kicking it up high. Like they mentioned, he only had his debut a couple weeks ago and now already thrown into the deep end. Playing in South Africa up against an informed Stormers side. Good hands there from Moro. Who's my favourite Springboks player? It used to be Andre Pollard, but now you're saying he should be sacked. So I don't know if it is still Andre Pollard at this point. Nice stepping on the wing from Ollie Hazel Collins. The Tigers, if they want any chance of coming back to win this game, they do need the next try. I see that Leinster have just taken the 3 points in their game up against Bayonne, so they are still down 7 points to 3. Already almost a quarter of the way through this fixture. It has been absolutely flying by. Now short pop pass there from Joe Woodward. Goes on the outside now. Chipping behind. Chance here for the Tigers, but a nice mark called by Stephen Nkura. Took a bit of a knee to the rib. Thought about grabbing the foot as well. Nkura was not happy with it. Gabriel Hammer-Webb having a bit of a conversation with him. The Tigers kit looks like Northwest Leopard kit. In South Africa, says Conrad. He must be sacked. My new person is Chislin, says Mohadeen. Yeah, just that collision after the mark was called. Now kick downfield by Stephen Nkura. It does go into touch. There'll be some frustration there for the Leicester Tigers. They've been inside of the Stormers 22 a couple times, but haven't turned it into points. Their best opportunity was that 5-metre scrum that they had taken off them. But that was due to a high shot happening earlier on in the fixture. That looks like Sasha straight in off his feet, so easy penalty for the referee to give there. He does apologise. Did you see Cheslin can kick? I did see that. He has had some great kicks in the past, Cheslin Colby. Nothing about this Tigers team, yells England. All a bit dull and blunt, says Robert. Yeah, it's a side that's been sent to South Africa to see what they can do, but the reality is, like, anything within 30 points is probably a bonus for this Leicester Tigers team. I think that if they were somehow able to stop the Stormers from getting a bonus point, it would be absolutely huge. But I just don't see it happening. I think that the Stormers, we saw the Sharks bring up 50. Maybe there's half a chance of a 50 here. Oh, not straight from Leicester Tigers with their attacking chance too. That hurts. For a side that have had rare opportunities on attack this far. Not straight throws. They are going to hurt them even more so. Just going over the top. Looks like Jordi Serrans is going to have a kick opportunity for Bayonne in the game up against Leinster. We'll give them a 10-3 lead. If it does end up going over, and it does. So 10-3 in favour of Bayonne over Leinster. Do Stormers need... How many bonus points do Stormers need? So at the moment, the Stormers, if they even lost this game but secured 2 bonus points, that would still be enough to be ahead of the Leicester Tigers. So the Stormers currently sit on 9 points. If they were to win this game with a bonus point, depending on how Leinster go, there's actually potential that the Stormers could finish top of this group. Now, that is also dependent on how the Harlequins go up against La Rochelle tomorrow. Oh, on the near side of the scrum, it has collapsed. They will have another reset. I will mention Matongo is still out there, so we haven't seen Ntatuka Machuna returning out onto the field ever since that head knock. Okay, at the moment, it does sound like the referee just giving a few tips in terms of the scrum, making sure that both of these sides are aware of what they need to do. Yeah, this group is the intriguing one for me. Alongside, to be fair, I think that we're pretty much confirmed in Pool 4 now, in terms of who will finish in the top 4. It's just more so where will they finish. Unless, of course, Scarlets can get the upset win. They'd need to get a bonus point win over Northampton. If they were to do that, away from home, that would move them into the top 4 and knock the Bulls out. But that likeliness is pretty slim. That is going to be a penalty the way of the Stormers for the scrum rotating. A penalty awarded for Nelly Fauchier, who's put Hafa under pressure early. In terms of this Pool 2, it is also a very intriguing group. To some extent, you could say Saracens to lose because of the fact that Sharks are now inside of the top 4. But I do think that Toulon, Munster, like Gloucester and Castres, they all have a chance of being top 4, which is what makes it so great. But Castres, they've kind of thrown together a makeshift team. They've said, nah, we're not worried about it. We get knocked out. And come on, Tigers, very slow half. Says Haino there. That ball's going to be knocked into the hands of the Leicester Tigers. Now offloaded back Wells. Now advantage is over. That grubber is going to continue rolling. Sasha, oh, it's hit the post and bounced in the field of play and then into touch. So it will be a 5-metre line out here for the... Oh, it's a 5-metre line out for the Leicester Tigers. They've actually said Sasha has knocked that one into touch. It has come off the knee of Sasha. We're going to see it now. Yeah, pretty unlucky. What's happened is it's hit the corner flag, bounced back off that flag, hit Sasha's thigh, and then gone into touch. That one wasn't that straight from the Leicester Tigers either, but it wasn't contested. Now they get a rolling maul going, trying to keep their feet underneath them. And this one moving relatively successfully for the first few meters. Now getting dragged down. A penalty advantage here against the Stormers. Looked like a knock-on from the Tigers, but they'll move it into the middle of the field. They should check for the knock-on, but it's the youngster George Pearson who manages to score the try. A brilliant bit of work from the Leicester Tigers as they get back into this game. If it is all clear. Once again, it looked like there were potentially knock-ons there. They did have themselves the penalty advantage. So they could throw absolutely everything into it. Go like this. Go like that as well. Very curious to see what that does in terms of these two sides odds-wise. Right. There was a blow of the whistle from the referee. I think that has all been cleared at last, says Jeff A. Leicester won't go down without a fight, says Big Ring. And maybe they just needed one. You know, to give them the confidence that they can score here. Straight out in front of the post, though. They're going to be checking this one. The Stormers reserves are just having a bit of a warm-up here. Don't think they'll be being brought on just yet. Do you know lions and tigers can actually breed with each other? See his Big Rig? I did not know that. What comes out, though? Is it more of a tiger or a lion? Or is it a mixture of a half and half? A liger? Or a Tyan? I prefer liger. It depends, says Big Rig, and there they go. Here they come, the Tigers. Says JD, Sasha. Getting it high again, just outside of his 22. Similani chasing after this one, but a clear catch for Pearson. Liger, says Jimbo. A Liger is a male lion, a lion plus female tiger, while a Tigan is a male tiger, female lion. Well, there you go. Tigan sounds better than Tyon. Tyon kind of sounds like, well, actually, Tyon sounds like something you'd use to tie something. A little kick him behind, attempted there, fell over in the process though, and Nkura tries to kick that one. It's gone straight sideways. Who scored the Stormers' tries? Also, the second one was scored by Andre Hugo Fenta, and then first try was Evan Bruce. So 2 forwards at the moment. For Leicester, they have scored with just the back, and the try for George Pearson. But once they're produced, the offspring can't reproduce. They're sterile. Huh. Okay, so you get a mix for like one generation and then it disappears. It's considered unethical because they have a high risk of health issues and infertility. And also did score, says Mohadeen. We're seeing 2 tries for the Stormers and 1 for Leicester Tigers at this point in time. 12 points to 7. Yet one generation, says a real bad boy. Who knew everyone knew so much about tigers and lions breeding? The things you learn. James Thompson at the moment just getting a little bit of medical attention for his Achilles by the looks of it. So we'll go like this. And like that as well. The crowd absolutely loving it by the looks of it. A decent sized crowd. Come on, win for the Stormers, Hamish. I like England winning Rugby World Cups, one generation. Stormers passing a bit loose at times. And come on, the Tigers. And also female Tigons and Ligers can be fertile, but again, people don't breed them for ethics. And Liger, Hamish, says David. And also, afternoon, Hamish, I'm finished with my mission for Saturday. It is good to see you, Ruth. People were wondering where you were earlier on, but I'm sure you've been hectic on today. If Glasgow wins and Leinster loses, Glasgow would be the only URC team to be undefeated. Who would have thought? Says Kahu. Yeah. And it could happen at the moment, the way that Bayern sit, they are winning 10 points to 3 over Leinster. Leinster yet to really get firing in that contest. I've seen a Liger. I've never seen a Tigan. Afternoon, Ruth says Jimbo. Line out throw now for James Blamire. Has claimed that one again for Leicester. They sit about 30 metres out and breaking the line again. Inside pass, didn't need him. They score again and they'll take the lead in this contest. It is straight out in front of the post. Beautiful pass into the back line, and Will Wand does manage to score the try. I talked about the tongue twister of the midfield between Woodward and Will Wand, but it's the second try now for the Tigers. That just left a huge gap, so even if it's hard to say, it was a thing of beauty. Dylan Mart just getting sold the wrong way. Boom, says Jeff A. Afternoon, everyone. How we doing? Says Sebastian there, and hi, Ruth, says Wild Lobster. That is very nicely done. Hamish, you're looking refreshed and ready for the action, says Ruth. Yeah. Well, to be fair, it's 5 a.m. almost here in New Zealand, but I feel like it's only like maybe midday. I think that's because I managed to get a slightly little sleep in beforehand. But that is a very impressive try. And hey, a wild, says Ruth. Now 4 minutes remaining. Sorry, not 4 minutes remaining. Where did I get 4 minutes remaining from? Where did that... I'm not sure where... I think I was trying to say 14 points to 12 maybe, but 4 minutes, there's a lot more than 4 minutes. There's actually close to 14 minutes. But just the 12 and a half now left on the clock. Tigers in possession again inside of their own 22. Rolling this one back. Again, Tom Whiteley clearing his lines. Doesn't manage to find touch with it, looking straight into the sun with Similani, who has taken it nicely. Too much 7, says Big Rig. Probably. And we're going to have more 7s tomorrow as well on the channel, ladies and gents. Ruben van Heeren having the line break now. Pretty much everyone getting the opportunity to break through the line. Evan Roos pushes him over. Says take the break down. Sasha going across to Jonathan Roach. Hard day for Colombian Rugby Sevens fans today, both of them. Says Big Rig now, pass across Similani, tackled. Oh, big collision there with Jamie Blamire. Trying to hit him hard enough to force it free, just like it. says Mohideen, and game is good here. Yeah, see, it looked like it was going to be a bit one-sided in the early stages, but now we're starting to see that little bit of comeback there. Sasha looking to kick that one sideways to his teammate. But it's going to be taken now by the Tigers. Now, kick downfield. That was actually by Joaquim Moro, the number 6. Bro says Afrikaans names with a proper Afrikaans accent. And hey, we talking rugby here, please, not inbreeding with lions and tigers, says Herbert. But now, grubber, box kick. Up and under. I called it about 3 different kicks, but in the end, it is retained by the Tigers. A knock back, no knock on now. Going to be a scrum feed for the Stormers. And Stormers have got a huge job here. I hope they do it, says Ruth. Yeah, well, they started so well. 2 quick fire tries. And then from there, they did end up conceding, which I think hurt them a little bit. And then they conceded again. Thompson, he has made his way off the field. That is going to be for man, so the injury of their Achilles or ankle or whatever it was does seem severe enough to have to take him off the field. And they don't know what we know. So here's Sheila there. 30 minutes, I should say, have already passed in this game. Looks like Leinster are close to scoring themselves a try here. I like a close game, or a good close game, but I feel like Stormers are going to come back swinging, like Lennox Lewis in the second half. And I see what you mean about Stormers. Still could actually be eliminated if La Rochelle beat Harleys and Leicester beat the Stormers, says Kahu. Yeah, there is still a chance. Like I mentioned now, it's a very, very small chance, but it can happen because the Stormers, they need at least a bonus point from this game to feel a little bit more safe. That puts the pressure on some of the other sides. But yeah, if Leicester win this game, get a bonus point, they move up to 10 points. And then the Stormers need at least 1 bonus point to be able to counter that kind of extra points. And then the thing is as well, there is still a world where Leicester and the Stormers can finish in the top 4 and Harlequins can miss out. So I guess says Matthew. And also lovely warm day. Clouding over now, evening time, says Ruth. And fantastic start. Our don't slow down, boys, says Ruth. You are perfect with South Africa and Pacific, Hamish. Say Llewellyn. And Linelli, is it? It's probably not quite right. Oh, penalty again to the Tigers. A side entry there from the Stormers. Harley's point differential was 88 though, says Kahu. That is true, but La Rochelle, if they, Harlequins can't get knocked out, La Rochelle can though, with that group, if Harlequins were able to beat La Rochelle. That one's going to be kicked into touch by the Leicester Tigers. Of course, if Leicester Tigers lose this game, then it pretty much confirms who's through anyway. Unless Leicester Tigers get 2 bonus points, then they would theoretically be ahead of La Rochelle. If Leicester win, they'll have a log lead as wide as Ben Jason Dixon's neck, says the real bad boy. He has got a huge neck, doesn't he? Ben Jason Dixon. But now ready to throw it in. Jamie Blamire again. Oh, overthrown. And that is slapped back by Andre Hugo Fenta with the advantage now in favour of the Stormers, just 10 metres out from the line. And Kura is not good enough at this level, says Nerdy. I am slightly surprised they didn't play Kobus. Is that down to injury of Kobus Reinhardt? Because or else I would have thought you'd stick him out there for this game. I can understand Ahmad Khan off the bench because he actually did quite nicely off the bench in the last match. But yeah, does Kobus have an injury that I didn't spot? Maybe. I was watching some soccer, the favourites here. So Stormers are favourites. They were about, Leicester were $7.25 underdogs for this contest. Rico in for Henschel. I did think I saw that change. Is that injury-based, Jimbo? As if so, Leinster picking up a few injuries in this game. Close with Llewellyn, says Fleshin. I like how you didn't say close with the other one, though. I probably absolutely butchered it, didn't I? Yes, Kobus is injured. What type of injury has he got? Nerdy beard man. How long is he going to be out for? Is that just perhaps a gap in the Stormers game that they will want to fill as quickly as possible? Now off to the right-hand side. Backline movement here for the Tigers. One-on-one defence is solid. Oh, that was almost a tip tackle there. You've got to be very careful doing something like that. Mark was not caught by Similani. He gets driven into touch, and it will be a Tigers line out 10 metres out. Looks like an ankle, says Jimbo. And I would have started Ahmad. Yeah, I probably would have as well. With how he played off the bench up against the Quins, he seemed like one of those players who were being a bit more aggressive with the way that he was playing. And he actually scored late in that game as well. You're under pressure there, Similani. And we're going to see a starting. He will start next week, more than likely up against the Stormers. Oh, overthrown by the Tigers. That is the last thing that they need. Ruben van Heeren with the offload to Andre Hugo Venter. They move out to 25 metres from their own line. Sasha now firing it off to the right-hand side. Hudson-Berg puts in the fend, trying to break through two, and he almost does, but he tries the offload and gives it straight back to the Leicester Tigers. There's one mistake that you can't afford when you finally get that ball back. A knee injury, not serious. He will be back for the URC. Okay, that's great news for the Stormers. The last thing that they want is to lose him early on. Going for a kick in behind, just playing a little bit of territory. Nicely done by Leicester. Just forcing the Stormers back towards their own goal line. Currently still leading in this contest. 14 points to 12. So we'll go like this and like that as well. There we go. So currently, Tigers are considered still underdogs, even though they lead in this contest. So it does just kind of tell you the extra weight that is expected. Like the Tigers are $5.50 underdogs, even though they're leading. Not many sides have that scenario. Oh, overthrown there. And the Tigers now have got themselves possession here, sitting 10 metres out from the Stormers line. If they score now, those odds surely will have to shift a little bit, but they should have the knock-on advantage from Ruben van Heeren knocking it on. Oh, a no-arms tackle advantage against Paul de Villiers. He is saying to the ref, I wrap my arms. Ref disagrees. Now kicked him behind by the Tigers. Claimed inside of the in-goal area by Lelion Zas. Double blow of the whistle here. And the captain's getting called over. This is a last warning now for the Stormers. And clouds looking threatening. Might even rain. The Tigers doing pretty good so far. They are doing very well indeed. Yeah, but you said it as an English person. I would say it so it wasn't too bad. Says Fleshin. And just there. And also, do you think the Stormers will do it? Leicester stronger than I thought, says Ruth. I think the Stormers should still be able to get it done. Ref is having none of it, says Big Rig. And it looks like the Leicester Tigers here are actually opting for the 3 points. Now, I have to say, this is where I slightly disagree with the choice here from Leicester. Yes, lineouts have been shaky, so take a quick tap or a scrum. Because yes, winning this game is important, unless they feel like maybe they have got enough time to still score those next 2 tries. But they can't just win this game. They have to win it with a bonus point. Because if they don't win with a bonus point, their chance of making it through to the next stage, they have to heavily rely on someone else to do the work for them. That kick is missed. Out in front of the post, that just proves how bad of a decision that was from the Tigers. And you're not going to beat the Stormers with 3 points. Not a side currently that, with the exception of their last game, are on a massive winning streak. I see Herschel Yankees playing for Bayonne at the moment as well. I did just catch him down the wing in that game up against Leinster, but it is kicked downfield by the Stormers. They will be thanking Leicester for going for that. They probably tuck it out and want a break. Says Big Rig, they can have a break in 3 minutes' time when it's half time. That's a bit harsh, isn't it? But I'm trying to be cheeky before they earned it. Says Nerdy Beard Man. Nice take there from the Stormers. Drop ball from Ben Jason Dixon. But now still on their side as the ball went backwards. Similani. And if the Tigers concede now, what does that do to the morale of this team and the momentum of this match as well? Evan Ruiz going for a grubber in behind. That could have been a massive shot on the Tigers player, but luckily just got caught around the bootlaces. Stormers are not going down without a fight, says Ruth. Now Leicester back in possession. They are currently inside of their own half. But yeah, I feel like minimum they had to chase the bonus point here. And yes, they've still got time to be able to do it. But the Stormers side have been known as a very strong second half team. And club sandwiches for lunchtime. Similani seems to be allergic to passing. He has had a few solo runs throughout this game, that is for sure. Sasha takes it just outside of the 22, kicking back downfield. It's become a bit of a game of force back between these two now. Oh, that was almost a bit high, but he was ducking down in that case for Billy Searle, so I don't think he'll be ruled against him. That's going to be the turnover now for the Stormers in the breakdown. And the irony at the moment of taking on the 3 points to have a break, it's actually led to them having to defend more. Just out of curiosity, has there been a water break in the 20th minute? There actually wasn't, I don't believe. Unless it was during a time when a player was injured, that maybe they had a few drinks run onto the field, but I don't believe it's as hot in Cape Town as it was in Durban. So, yeah, I don't think there was a drinks break. Not a very long one anyway, if there was. Now, De La Mart chasing after it all, taking the man in the air. Should be a penalty in favour of the Tigers, but it looks like it's going to be play on just for now. And now, Tigers have to try and work it out from their own 22. What's happening in the Bayern game? At the moment, they are leading 10 points to 3. And their contest up against Leinster, so a pretty good start. The contest for Bayern. It may actually be half-time now too, by the looks of it. Now, kick downfield off the side of the boot. It doesn't quite get the meterage that he was after. What would you say at half-time? Hamish, if you were the Tigers coach, says Big Rig. I think they just need to continue doing what they're doing, but they need to be aggressive. Because if you take your foot off the gas up against a side like the Stormers, they score 4 tries up against you in 10 minutes and you're done. But, if they stay competitive, they have had a pretty solid first half. They had that yellow card early. The Stormers scored twice during that period. Since then, the Stormers have not scored any form of points. But that doesn't mean that they won't at the end of this half. They've got 30 seconds here and a line out 35 metres out from the opposition line. Going to get this one rolling forward. Breaking off is Andre Hugo Fenter. Now Sasha trying to sneak through, but he's tackled low by Ollie Cracknell. It's the battle of the captains and a new advantage going against the Tigers. Now Ruben van Heeren. Now the question is, would the Stormers take 3 points here or would they go for the corner and look to be aggressive? It's kicked him behind by Sasha Feinberg. Ngume Zulu doesn't quite sit up for Dylan Mart and they'll go back for the penalty. Dobbo might blow a gasket today and the Tigers look okay. The weather isn't a problem. They don't need a water break, says Fleishan. Come on, the Stormers, don't let us down with this game, please, says Herbert. You're going to go back for that initial penalty, which I think, once again, I wouldn't be surprised if they kick for the corner here. But maybe they'll just take the 3, get the lead at halftime. It would be a decent place to be sitting at this stage of the contest. Better to be up by 1 point than take the risk and not score. Stormers come on, too many handling errors and penalties, says Avril there. And Tigers got their whiskers in a twist, says Ruth there as well. And Stormers score now, please, says Ruth. And let's go Leicester. 14 points to 12 now. Line out, maul try, just smart rugby, please, boys. So they have taken the 3, Sasha, to give them the 1 point lead going into the second half. And Fenter, come on, says Ruth. And never mind positive, says Nerdy Beardman. Using up as many seconds as he can. They will have a long halftime break, though, to be able to recover. Sasha gets the kick over. And it makes the score now 15 points to 14 at the halftime break. And I would say overall that's probably closer than people thought that it would have been for this game. Yeah, the Tigers side looking a little bit tired heading into the second half. They will enjoy this 10-minute period. I just realised Jasper Vess is not playing for the Tigers, is he? Who does he? He's still at the Tigers, though. He's just not playing in this contest. Come on, the Stormers. Awai kicking for a goal. They need a bonus point try, says Brett. Yeah, if they do get themselves a bonus point, definitely with the way that the other game sits, maybe at halftime someone says to them, look, Leinster are losing up against Bayern. You guys can really crank out the points, get that bonus point, and then you might sit top of the table. It's still possible, but unlikely, says Big Rig, for the Stormers 41-17. I know that it was probably an innocent error, but did snort lager out of my nose when you said that. Auruz is being felt by the Pato, says Robert. Did I say that, or was it someone in the chat said that? And come on, sing now. I don't think I should sing. I have a terrible singing voice. It's something that I'm very sad about. But at the same time, it also means I don't have to sing on command. However, their Tigers have to be happy and to be in touch at halftime. Yeah, absolutely. Like, even if they lose this game, if they get 2 bonus points, they still theoretically have a shot of going through, which is possibly more than they would expect heading into this game. Although they would have felt like their squad, looking at this team that they'll put out there, has a decent chance. Go like this and like that as well. So currently, the way that it sits, of course, if the Leicester Tigers were leading and they were underdogs, they are even more of an underdog now. They're actually quite similar to what they were at the start of the match. But they are $5.75 now, the way that it sits. I will mention there is Rugby 7s taking place tomorrow before the Champions Cup games that we are covering. I'm hoping to do Bristol Bears versus Bordeaux, as well as the match after that between La Rochelle and the Harlequins. And then following that one, maybe the Saracens versus Glasgow game, if I'm not pouring concrete during that time. When is the next game of the championship? Says Mohadeen. So you're talking about the Champions Cup, as in like the next game itself or the next round? Next round takes place in April. Next game is happening just around the corner. And that one's going to be happening between Munster and Castra, and that is at 6:30 a.m. Also at that same time, Sale Sharks are taking on Toulouse. I heard New Zealand are considering Jake White. If Eddie Jones' autobiography is thrown into the deal, any truth to this? No. I don't think he's getting thrown around. Not that I know of anyway. I haven't heard many Kiwis mentioning it. Maybe something could be in the mix, but yeah, not that I've heard. Bizarre and Wazar. People old mate would say, says JD, as the Lions playing, says Mohadeen. They are playing. They are going up against Papignan in their game at 6:30 a.m. New Zealand time. So that is in an hour and 23 minutes time. Bay on 10, Leinster 3 at half time. Yeah, Leinster down at the moment in that contest. Also a couple injury concerns with Furlong and Henshaw going off the park. And just the one try for Sareli Mangwala in that game. What, Fijians are tearing up the Champions Cup at the moment. Salisi Rayasi last week for Bordeaux, getting himself the hat trick in that game. I know, I was just kidding about Jake. Although, to be fair, it would be interesting to see how he would get along with the players. If they didn't like Scott Robertson, we know that Jake, at the Bulls, there was that conflict of the players and him. So I'd imagine he'd try and get the All Blacks into line, which might not go too well. And Leinster, not Leicester. It's confusing. Leinster Irish, Leinster or Leicester English. Says Ruth. Yeah, it's also very confusing because Leicester and Leinster are playing at the same time, just to confuse people a little bit more. But now, we've got the halftime highlights that they are showing. There's been a few of them, to be fair. There's been some good moments for both sides. We've seen the yellow card. Jake would jump at it, says the real bad boy. He probably would, to be fair. He'd say, let me at them. Yeah, we're seeing there the no arms from Paul de Villiers in that tackle. It did lead to the 3 points going the way of the Tigers. Near the end of the half. I haven't seen Sasha score as of yet. What a game so far, says Kahu. Yeah, back and forth between these two sides, which is fantastic to see. I'm also a little bit surprised that Evan Russ is actually still out there on the field after the concerns of an early injury. Second, we will go like that. We will go like that as well. And once the players have sacked one coach off, it wouldn't take long for them to sack another off, says Fleshen. Yeah. Well, it's a tricky one to deal with now, isn't it, as a coach? Because now you don't have to worry about just trying to win games. You have to worry about trying to have the players like you. I did not expect this from Leicester, says Kahu. And also, we've got there, Jake White is bad, says Martin. Our Rocky movie theme song, Eye of the Tiger. And also, you see my ancestors exchange beds, Italian mattress, British frame, says JD. Now, second half of Leinster versus Bayonne will not be a mile away from starting up this game. Not a mile away from their second half also starting. Yes, he did, says Martin. For if he's coached him. It happens in football all the time, says Fletcher. New Zealand will end up in Eddie's competent hands. Right, they've just done a 3, 2, 1 go countdown. Who's racing where? There's something going on. I think someone's trying to pass balls into like a hole, but I can't see because we're on like the far, far, far away camera angle that has the whole stadium. Looks like a little bit of overcast cloud cover in the background, but for now the sun is still out. Hopefully it will remain with less handling errors in the second half. But I do feel like the Tigers have shown on attack that they are more than capable of getting something going here. I just have to make sure that they're slightly getting it right. Right now, Toulouse are 5 in Pool A, says Kahu. That is true. There's actually a lot that can change, not just over the whole weekend, but actually just today. You know, Toulouse are playing later on up against Sale Sharks. So whoever wins that game, they put themselves in a great position. We see there also later on tonight, there's a game at about 9 a.m, I believe. That is Gloucester versus Toulon. That will probably confirm a lot for that group. We see also in the Challenge Cup, Ospreys versus Montpellier. That will be an intriguing game. Like outside of the games that are happening at the moment, there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games taking place across the Challenge and Champions Cup within the next about 5 hours. Our French have Cheap Springs, says JD. And Blaise for Blaise. Kenneth Lee for so it's said with what I say is Linelli. It's said with a C at the start. Clenelli? Clenefley. I wouldn't have guessed that at all. If the Tigers win, we'll never hear the end of how England are going to win the Rugby World Cup 2027, says Robert. And yes, and Jippy, says Martin. I'm just looking around for movement on both fields at the moment to see whether or not it's going to be Leinster and Bayonne who make their way back out onto the field first, or whether it will be the Tigers and the Stormers. Flenethi. How do you end up with a C at the start of a word with 2 L's, though? Like, where's that come from? And why is it always that the coach get the blame when the players are not performing, says Herbert? Yeah, I think it was more than, like, Scott Robertson, he had 74% win rate, which isn't actually that bad. But, of course, when you coach in the All Blacks, people expect you to have 100% and win every single game. But, like, yeah, it's an interesting one. And I hope that the new coach does well, because if he doesn't, they will be pretty quick to sack him too, I would think. How many Tigers are in the England team? They've got Freddie Stewart, who's not playing in this game. Adam Radwan, I think they normally have, who's not playing in this game. And the forwards, Ollie Chisholm, who's not playing in this game. So of the players actually playing in this matchup, Ollie Hassel-Collins, has he had a chance for England? He might be the only one in this whole game that has had some sort of English caps. Or at least recently. Look what Eddie Jones did for Japan, for example, says Big Rig. Ancient European languages are like that, Hamish, says Jimbo. And very Welsh, says Ruth. Sounds like a bit of dubstep going on at the ground as well. Leinster and Bayonne making their way back out onto the field. Arkia Sneyman. He's had a bit of a trim up top by the looks of it. He's cut the hair, but not the beard. He's left the beard on, and after the World Cup, he got bad. He got a winning team from Carol Duplessis. My mother's maiden name Jones, says Ruth. And Eddie for the All Blacks, says Jimbo. Clenefley. See, I sound more Irish when I try and sound Welsh, which is probably more offensive than just saying it like reading it out. Yeah, Bayern and Leinster, they are just about to start their second half, currently down by 7. South African rugby teams must go back to their original names and original jerseys. So you have Red Rosa and also the Welsh Dragons. It's hard to say phonetically, I assume you're not talking the actual word phonetically, because I've actually somehow said that not too badly. Oh, they are all Celtic. And 1 point game here, says JD. Yeah, anything can happen in the second half. We could see the Tigers come out firing, or we could see the Stormers work their way towards that bonus point, which they would so desire from this game to secure a spot and potentially top of the table in this group. And we have got there, we need a Eddie Jones emoji, Hamish, says Jimbo. You think I should replace the one of George going with that crying face and instead have it as Eddie Jones? And Wales vs Zimbabwe is the final, says Big Rig. And now all rugby teams, too many bloody sponsors on nowadays, says Red Rosa. There are quite a few. Like for the Stormers, I mean, I don't mind the main sponsor, but it is very hard to read all of them on the kits because normally the shorts have about 2 or 3 now. The kits themselves have about 4. We have got our winning team. We were so bad after Cal that we were underdogs against Ireland in the incoming tour 2004, says the real bad boy. Playing a little bit of Bon Jovi halfway there. Well, living on a prayer is what it's called, but that's what the song's saying at the moment about it being halfway in this contest. Getting a bit like NASCAR. Have you seen WWE rings now? Yeah, they've got a lot of sponsors all over them as well. But now, Leinster and Bayonne currently sits 10 points to 3 still, just the 1 try for Sareli Mangwala. And it looks like there is movement from the players out of the tunnel. We're about to get back underway. Go like this. And I like that as well. Right, players being welcomed back out there. There we go. The big one, Western Province versus New Zealand, says Red Rosa. And talking, we smashed Australia, and most people start to sound Indian when they're trying to do a Welsh accent. Sounding Irish is close enough, says Fleshin. Imagine if we were full strength, says Kahu. Imagine if they were full strength. You're talking about the Tigers in there. Although these young guys like George Pearson, normally you'd see Freddie Stewart in that 15 jersey, but he's honestly done pretty well in the 15 jersey today. He's managed to score himself a try, which is all you can ask for as a player in a match, as well as some good defensive work from him too. We see their possession is 58% in favour of the Leicester Tigers. I still think the turning point of this contest, though, is the fact that Leicester didn't go aggressive. When they had a penalty just out from the Stormers' line, they went for the 3 points and they missed it, which makes it a little bit worse. But it is kicked off now for the second half, but they needed the points there. They needed a 7 to then get themselves working towards a bonus point, because anything less than a bonus point win here for the Leicester Tigers won't be enough, I don't believe, to secure them a spot through to the next stage. You must become a teacher. I think I'd hate to be a teacher just because of the fact that, it would just be tough, because you got to learn it yourself, and then you got to try and teach someone else it as well. Now in behind, Stormers. Simalani, inside of the 22, does kick it downfield and manages to find touch. Leicester Tigers decide against taking this one quickly. Leicester is in the UK. They certainly are. Thanks, Kiwi Lad. Enjoy your live chat and insight, says Mariga, and it is greatly appreciated you being here. We are going to be here tomorrow as well, though sadly no South African sides playing in those contests, but we'll be back for the URC the week after. The Sharks going head-to-head with the Stormers in a great South African derby. I'm not actually sure. Lions, I don't believe, play the Bulls. Or do they? They might actually. I'm going to have to quickly look now. I will mention also Egypt versus Nigeria taking place. The third place of the AFCON competition at the moment is just happening. Oh, Simalani going for the grounding. Can't quite get it. In fact, no, sorry, did get it inside of his in-goal area. But it's going to be the goal line dropout. South African teams are the only teams that don't have players from other countries. Says Jeff, that is incorrect. They do have players, a few internationals come in for these South African sides. They are predominantly homegrown, though, in terms of their selections. One's going to be kicked high. And nicely taken. Although a lot of the players who come from overseas normally do have some sort of connection to South Africa as well. And Simalani is also having a nightmare, says Nerdy Beard Man. Can you do the soccer game tomorrow night? Sadly, that soccer game does overlap with, if I'm pouring concrete in the morning, it will be at that time. Kenya and Zimbabwe are not South African countries. Says Sock in there. And we have, yeah, I don't mind who, just try, and maybe New Zealand. I must get an Indian coach. Says Martin there. Currently, we are just working out that next round of the URC. Also, no idea why we would want to play this much in our own 22. So, yeah, just a drop ball out wide for Hazel Collins. Does give the scrum to the Stormers. I think both sides are making a few errors. In terms of, I think the Stormers need to get out of their own half. Definitely inside of their own 22. And for this Leicester Tigers side, they just need to be a bit more strategic with how they're attacking here. Do you work with your dad? Most of the time, yes. So, yeah, we'll be pouring concrete together. Which, I mean, if you're going to do a job like concrete, you want to do it with someone. You know, you want to both suffer rather than just one of you. Now, Nkura, ready to put that ball in. 10 metres out from their own line here for the Stormers. This is where if they can win a scrum penalty, it would be huge for them, although holding strong for now. Now the Tigers, oh my, the Tigers win the penalty. Tight head angling there. Actually, very cool that you have the team sheet up always. Love it, thank you. Do you want to talk about hashtag Fun Ruas? Not getting a Springbok spot? To be fair, though, he is locked in with the Stormers now for a little bit longer. And when Sio Kolisi signed for the Stormers, I thought that that was either going to force Evan Ruas out the door because he maybe felt like his spot was in jeopardy, or he was going to lock in for a little bit longer. But I do think he's still going to get a chance at some stage. I just don't know when. He's still young enough, though, that, you know, there are potential opportunities there for Ruas. Definitely if he shows commitment to South African rugby and stays in South Africa. Now, rolling ball attempt here for the Tigers. They're close to the try and they're over it. And they've scored the try now. 45 minutes in, they will take the lead back in this game, the Leicester Tigers. And that is a statement try too. Like they said, what a start. So the Ospreys are playing up against the Lions. Edinburgh are playing the Bulls. Now, those games are taking place next weekend. I think I'm going to actually sadly be away during those Saturday morning games, which is a bit of a shame. So we have to miss those two, but hopefully we'll be able to get some sort of video out about them. Or we'll definitely be doing the game later on between Stormers and Sharks. So we'll be back home by that stage. And try. Says Big Rig. Leicester are just rubbish. Says Jimbo. You're currently still down 10 points to 3. The Springboks have lost some games last year, and there was nothing about replacing Rasi. I would say the team that makes use of the opportunity and succeed and won the game as the team of the day, says Herbert. And who scored the try? I believe if it was the rolling maul try, I think it would have been Blameyer. I'm just trying to see the number of the player, but it was a big rolling maul going through the middle. That actually looked like, who was it? I think that might have been Will Hurd, actually, who managed to score that one. And Tigers are a very average mid-table premiership side. Says Yaden. Also, they come on the Tigers. Says, hey, no, you're currently leading this one by 6 points. 21 points to 15, and they are one try away from that minimum bonus point that I mentioned that they require. There's a knock on there from the Stormers. Oh, no, referee says it's gone backwards. I don't know about that. But Andre Hugo Fenta, an attacking chance. Now, Evan Ruas pierces a massive gap, tries to step. He has knocked that ball on, and that one cannot be debated. And it's going to be now the Tigers who have got themselves a scrum inside of their 22. I fell asleep last night, and I woke up and I saw the Bulls one. Miracles still happen, says Xander. And Liverpool just conceded, guessing I'm cheering Ulster, says Jimbo. And yeah, of course, it's not just the Champions Cup round of 16 that we will have confirmed tomorrow. It is the Challenge Cup round of 16 as well. Ulster currently looking like the real deal, although a few nervous moments by the end of that contest up against the Stade Francais. And what are the Stormers doing? They're dropping the ball at the moment quite often, which has hurt them throughout this match. I will mention there is a lot on the line, definitely with how Bayonne versus Leinster sits currently. It means that the top of the table spot is on the line for the Stormers if they can win this game. And it means that the Leicester Tigers, they have an opportunity to get inside of the top 4 if they were to win this one. But the Stormers, if they receive 2 bonus points, could actually go high enough that it means that the Stormers still go through. It's going to be a penalty there to the Leicester Tigers. Stormers getting penalised a lot at scrum time, but they have looked like they've been the team forcing the opposition backwards throughout this first 47 minutes. Can I say something? You absolutely can, Mohideen. Go for it. And Pretoria Capitals are having a horror show versus Joburg Super Kings at the moment. Says Xander. And also, no way, you're welcome to join me at the Dragons. Says Heino. And Sasha's not ready to be a captain, says Mohideen. It was a big decision to put the captaincy on him. And I actually mentioned about it earlier on in the week. I said that putting Sasha as captain will either make or break him as a number 10 for this game. Now, he was effective in the early stages of this contest, but since then we haven't seen a huge amount of him. And when the Stormers are at their best, he is involved in absolutely everything. Now, that doesn't mean that it won't improve in the second half. And later on in this contest, maybe there is still a chance that we see him start to get going. Harlequins can actually top the pool. Are they sending full strength against La Rochelle? I know that Marcus Smith is playing. I don't know whether he is the only one that would be considered as full strength for the Quins, but I'll have a quick look now. They've got Cunningham himself, Don Brandt, Kenningham, Tyrone Green, Kana Murley. I'd say it's pretty close to full strength, or at least like a pretty handy side, but to head to France and win is very tricky to do. Also, am I allowed to say something? You are indeed, Sander. Go on. Have you been saying something since the Sharks game? Why ask now? Says the real bad boy. And also we have got the Can the Stormers be knocked out? They actually can theoretically. Of course, it can change a lot, though, in the next little while. Low tackle made on JD Schickerling. Now thinking about picking up that ball, Stephen Nkura. Passing across there to Paul de Villiers. Looks for the offload. Finds it to Lelion Zas. And it's the try there for the Stormers. They get their third. And now it gets interesting because if the Stormers score again, like I mentioned, in this game, they probably walk away minimum with a bonus point or 2. And then from then, it means that Leicester Tigers, even if they win this game, can still not make it through if La Rochelle win. Can the Stormers be knocked? Oh, no, I read that one. A seesaw matchup, it certainly is, but Lelion was us. That was just a great flat attack and run. Finally, some shape, patience, and execution. Yeah, it was Paul de Villiers who created the gap and does well to free up his arms to be able to pass it off to Lelion Zas. Who finishes it off for his Stormers side. And Quins are so frustratingly unpredictable, just like the Scotland international team. And Bayonne 9 just got binned. Oh, that would be Herschel Yankees, who would have got sent off the field there for Bayonne. But now 1 point separating these two sides, and the lead will be back with the Stormers with this nice easy kick out in front for Sasha. 22 points to 21. 3 tries apiece. A bonus point for if you score 4 tries. I think both of these sides will be certainly chasing it, and both have potential of being able to reach that milestone as well. But Nkura does kick that one into touch. And the Tigers decide to take it quickly. The Dragons, the home of the disenfranchised, says Fleishan. An up nice take from Feinberg. Ngume Zulu again. Nicely taken inside of the 22 by the Tigers. Less than 30 minutes remaining. This game's going to absolutely fly by if it continues being the seesaw that it is. Great take from Sasha under the high ball. He actually calls for the mark as well. Wait till he gets back to his feet before calling for it. And now, looks like a few changes being made in that Bayonne versus Leinster game too. This game's actually almost caught up with that game in terms of the clock. It's 51 minutes and 3 seconds in the other contest. In this game, while I'm blurry, it's 53 on the clock. Now, Feinberg Ngume Zulu puts it into touch. It will be the line-out chance here for the Leicester Tigers. Cheerleaders once again celebrating and doing a little bit of dancing. If I tried to do a dance like that, I would blow at least 5 muscles, probably my groin, my hips, all sorts. Will go out of skew. Now going back across the right-hand side. Bounces up. Hazel Collins goes on the outside again, finds the hands of Gabriel Hammer-Webb. A little flick pass attempted there. It's gone backwards. Boy, they're under pressure here, the Leicester Tigers, but Sasha trying to get that counter ruck and just loses his footing. Size of Tangi, he'd eat ox for breakfast. Says Jimbo there. He is a big boy. Oh, cross kick attempted. It wasn't the best one. Oh, touch the player in front. So it is going to be an undeliberate offside. And the Stormers will get themselves the scrum feed. And steamed chicken, steamed potatoes, and broccoli. Yum. Says Sock there. We're going to see the replay. Yeah, just hits the arm of the man who was running through in front. Which is the point of commentary. Says Ruth. Yeah, this has certainly been, from what I've seen anyway, I'd say the better game out of Bayonne versus Leinster and Stormers versus Leicester. At the moment, that other game's still 10 points to 3. A low-scoring one. It could have a closer finish, though, depending on what happens in the next 28 minutes of this contest. And how many metres? At the moment, they are inside of their own half, the Stormers. So quite a bit of way to go. Possession, at the moment, still 56% in favour of Leicester. That number has dropped a little bit since halftime. Stormers starting to get a bit more of the ball in hand. They need a few more points to really secure this game. And me goes, I'm off to the Irish pub down the road. Says Fleshin, so we will see you later on. I see taken by the Tigers again, just on their 22. It's going to be the young 15. Oh my, that wasn't a lot of arms involved in that Ben Jason Dixon tackle, but it hasn't been checked. It is going to be play on. And the point is in distress, according to reports out of France. Says Sock. Oh, nice break of the line from Sasha. Gets through 3 tackles, manages to find his offload to Ruben van Heeren, who's had a line break of his own throughout this match. Evan Roos now with the pick and go. Offloads to Ngura. Back across to the left-hand side. Finds the hands of Luke Berger. He's hardly touched the ball today. Mainly because he's only recently made his way onto the field. Alan stay as sharp as a spoon. And thanks for responding. Guru's stubbornly committed to the Stormers, so he is hoping. And the Bulls won game. Sasha doing individual brilliance, costing him future captaincy. And even my Stormers need him home playoff. Or need the home playoff, says Marriott. And yeah, with a bonus point win here, that would be a massive way of being able to get it. Definitely if Leinster were to suffer a defeat up against Bayonne. But of course, still plenty of time remaining, and they've still got great players out there on the field by the looks of it for Leinster. They're showing here the head-to-head. Sasha has had 2 clean breaks, 4 tackles made, and only 9 passes for a number 10 seems low. Searle, in the other side of things, has 13 for the Tigers. He hasn't had any clean breaks. He's made a couple of tackles himself. He's had 3 game line successes compared to Sasha's 4. Another scrum, though, for Stormers. They are 40 metres out now from the Leicester Tigers line. Oh, and the free kick. In fact, no, the penalty goes the way of the Stormers. The point is going to be fine this year. No awful injuries, says Ruth. Yeah, they'll certainly want him for the Six Nations France, that is for sure. He is playing, I believe, for Toulouse later on up against the Sale Sharks. This could be a one-sided affair. Hopefully not, though. Now Sasha kicks this one into touch. About 10 metres out from the try line. In fact, a bit further, probably about 12. Lekaporthan says Nerdy there. Zachary Porthan, he's been quite a talent in terms of from their under-20 setup going on. Got himself the Springbok cap. Done a human hours put to work there. And when La Rochelle playing, La Rochelle are playing tomorrow at the same kickoff time as this match took place. That'll be 5:15 p.m. for you guys in South Africa, up against the Harlequins. It's a home game for La Rochelle as well. His knees will out as usual. Hopefully he does have an injury-free year, says Sock. A line-out throw here for Andre Hugo Fenta. Referee just getting them all set. Throws it into the middle to JD Schickling. That one was not straight, and the referee has called it as such. I went on straight as the bomb moving to the Sharks. Says Xander. Okay, he exit before the throw-in by the sounds of it as well from the referee. Oh no, so they actually didn't say that that one was not straight. It's because Evan Ruiz exited the line out before it was finished or something like that, I think was the call. Interesting. Probably could have been called as not straight anyway, but Sasha will give the loose forwards a chance now, says Herbert. Yeah, we've seen a little bit of Paul de Villiers throughout this game. Same can be said about Ben Jason Dixon. Ruiz has been heavily involved, although he has had a couple more recent mistakes. One's going to be put into touch. Will now be the Stormers line out, 42 metres out from the Leicester Tigers line. We're still a 1-point contest between these two sides. And the way that the table currently sits for this group, ladies and gentlemen, it would actually mean, theoretically, if the game finished with the score the way that it is, Leicester would for now be inside of the top 4. As it would mean that they go ahead of La Rochelle due to their points differential. Something to keep an eye on too. La Rochelle are starting to end up with a little bit more pressure on them. They've gone from a game that they would have felt relatively comfortable in to now knowing that it's a must-win. And come on, the Stormers, says Martin. It looked like another knock on there from the Stormers side. So now in the hands of Wells. Tackled by Zachary Porthen. Told to leave it alone in the breakdown. Across for, I believe that would have been Ilione in the number 20 jersey. Just really about a minute ago made his way onto the field. I see there that Leinster have scored themselves a try now in the contest. They are back to 10-10 up against Bayonne. Doesn't change a huge amount other than who will be at the top of the table. What's happening in the Bayern game? 10-10 at the moment between the two sides. Leinster just scoring their first. And cheers, guys. Thanks so much. There's the real bad boy in there as well. Yeah, plenty more coming up tomorrow. We've also got the women's and men's sevens that are taking place. South Africa will be in action in a semi-final. They're going head-to-head up against Poland. One's kicked in behind by Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu. Now across to the left-hand side again. Another step up the middle. Run from the back from Pearson. Almost stolen in the breakdown, though, by Paul de Villiers. Short ball. Going to get it on was Billy Searle. Now Leicester Tigers looking to use their back line. Breaking through another tackle was Will Wand. He's been a handful out there on the field. He's already scored himself 1 try for the Tigers. Perhaps a second would be on the cards if he keeps on carrying like he just did. Evan Ruiz looking in the breakdown, trying to get the steal. He wins the penalty. I thought the ruck may have already been set. But Evan Ruiz, the long arms round the outside, managing to win the steal in the breakdown. I'm going to see the replay here. Was this breakdown? It looked like they had already set it. Yeah, just sneaking through the middle of it, Evan Ruiz. Ripping his hands onto the ball, and he was not letting it go. Now Sasha, again, kicks that ball in to touch the Stormers. They've had some good defensive work throughout this contest, and I feel like that is why Leicester Tigers, with the exception of the 3 tries, haven't looked like scoring a huge amount of them. They've had some of their best runs round the halfway line, Leicester. But 7 penalties conceded against them compared to the 6 against the Stormers, so pretty even in that department. Herschel Youngke's about to make his way back out onto the field for Bayern, who are taking on a 3-pointer now to give themselves the 3-point lead over Leinster. Currently 59 minutes through this contest. The game between Bayern and Leinster is also 59 through. More than likely these games ending almost simultaneously. Now, looping around the back was Andre Hugo Fenter. Got through a couple. Elioni went for the steal and Gura pops it up to Ruben van Huren. Good position on the field at the moment for the Stormers, sitting 26 metres from the try line. Roach shovels it on to Similani. We actually saw some great work from Roach in the first half. There's a knock-on advantage against the Leicester Tigers. Looked like it might have been a knock on them from Lelion Zas. Yes, it was. So they'll go back now for the scrum fee. Why is the number 9? One of the first to be substituted. Says DJ, are we talking about the Leicester Tigers game or the Leinster game? Because Nkura is still out there. Are you watching the Lions game? I'll be watching it, but I won't be commentating it. I'll be keeping an eye on it, though. Alongside that Sale Sharks and Toulouse game and Ospreys Montpellier. I'll try my best to keep updated on all 3. And General H, I think it just... Oh, in fact, as you say that, they are now going to be making that change and Nkura goes off. I think it's just because of the amount of ground that the halfback normally covers. Like, we've got to remember, every time the Iz team's got the ball, you're pretty much running to the breakdown. Whereas like other backs, they're kind of getting set. They're roughly in the same position. So I think in terms of meters covered throughout a game, the forwards normally cover quite a few, but also the halfback covers normally the most out of the back line, with maybe the exception of the fullback. Now it's going to be Ahmad Khan. He was a great impact player off the bench last week for the Stormers, even in their large defeat to the Harlequins. Big push there from the Leicester Tigers, but they get penalised for that one for sideways. And going around on the angle was Archie van der Flair. Any relation to Josh van der Flair, I wonder? Not actually too sure, though. Great try by Sheehan, says Jimbo. Because Sheehan made his way off the bench, didn't he, in that game, Jimbo? Or was he starting? I think he was off the bench, though, right? And geez, close score. We just got back from the kitchen making a big batch of yogurt. FYI, yes, ABs take Jake White for free. Leave Tony Brown. He's as a forever. Rassi has spoken respect, says Marriott there. And Bayonne 13 points to 10, Leinster, says Jimbo, and off the bench. He's normally solid when he comes on late, isn't he? Dan Sheehan finds a way into the contest. That's going to be a big collision at rolling more time, and that one has gone down, very well defended by the Leicester Tigers, being told to leave it alone. Andre Hugafenta breaking off the side. 19 minutes remain in the contest. Pass across to Sasha. Can he get his quick stepping going and find a way over the try line? He's only 5 metres out now for the Stormers side. Andre Hugafenta, pick and go again. He's already scored once. Sasha plays half. Loop it around. That's a nice set play. Finding the hands of Ben Jason Dixon. 3 metres out from the line now. Ahmad Khan tries to go himself. He is clattered round the side of the breakdown by the Tigers, but they were offside. So advantage in favour of the Stormers now. Ahmad Khan searching for the ball. Goes off left-hand side. Sasha looking for the kick. It is charged down by the Tigers, so they'll go back for the penalty. And go Stormers, go, says Willem there. And me, this game is a meat grinder. And who has scored so far? So for the Stormers, we've seen Andre Hugafenta, Evan Rus, and also the most recent try was Lelion Zas. In terms of the tries for the Leicester Tigers, it's been George Pearson. Another try was scored by Blameyer, I believe it was. And then I want to say Will Hurd got the other. In fact, no, sorry, Will Wand got one. Rather than the hooker. Right, time is off at the moment. Wonder if this is because they are checking something. Who's the coach of the Tigers again? Who have they got at the moment? Leicester Tigers head coach. I can't even think of his name. Leicester Tigers head coach is at the moment Jeff Parling, the man in charge. However, they enough time to get more points. Come on. Let's have more tries, and Toulouse are going to miss out on the knockout stages. I wouldn't guarantee that. They're supposed to beat Sale Sharks by 50 points, according to the betting odds, because of the side that Sale have decided to select. It's not tough enough. Still enough to get Rough Tiger, Sasha, Ahmad, and Hudson-Berg have all been playing together since high school. Says Katzenel. So great chemistry between the three of them, of course. And come on, Sasha, Feinberg, Ngume Zulu, get the game on. Right, so they're checking for, I think it's a leading elbow for the TMO. We're going to see it now. Sasha is the man with the ball in hand. Gets rid of one. Oh, he does kind of go like that. A little bit to Will Wand. I don't think it was, well, I want to... No, he kind of puts his elbow up and pushes him like that around his neck. I think it's also bracing for impact, though. Like, there's not really anywhere else your arm would go in that scenario, but I think they're going to award the penalty to Leicester here. Was Leinster denied a try, says Kahu? Not 100% sure. I think they got close to scoring earlier on in the contest, but I assume that one was... Okay, Sasha's just said there. He's got a yellow card, by the way. Sasha will be off the field for the next 10 minutes, so the captaincy has not been the best for Sasha so far, but he was saying the reason that I've hit him in the head or in the neck is because he was upright heading into the tackle. But leading by the forearm by the captain, Leinster score at the moment 13-10 in favour of Bayonne. as the score currently. Jonathan Roach also played with him. He was their captain, and come on, WF. It could be a yellow. No, it is indeed. Knocked on by O'Brien, no try, says Jimbo. If you choose a person to use his nuts to make you Nutella, that's an interesting question. Who's captain now? I would assume, if I had to guess, captaincy probably Evan Roos, or maybe someone like a Ruben van Heer. Oh, in fact, if Nedeling Forshier's still out there, he'll probably be captain. But I don't think he is. I think that they're... Oh, no, sorry. Zachary Porthan's on, isn't he? So probably Evan Roos or Ruben van Heeren. Now ready to throw this one in for Blamire, not challenged in the air. The Leicester Tigers, this is a big opportunity to have a man advantage and get something moving. They don't have the X factor out there on the field at the moment for the Stormers in terms of one player who can make a huge difference. Run from Hazel Collins. And going back across to the right-hand side, I just want to remind everyone that the Leicester Tigers coming into this game, they were $7.50 underdogs. They now sit $2.75 underdogs with just the 16 minutes remaining. Leicester scored a try, but it got disallowed. I guess Sasha born in Cape Town. Says Bruce, and Bordeaux would wipe the floor with Bristol. Says Dennis. Yeah, it's going to be an intriguing game. As Bristol come in as only slight underdogs. That's a nice bit of work there from Similani. Managing to control that ball. He's tried to go for a fly kick and missed it. That means that the Tigers will have the line out. Wake up the Stormers, says Martin. Yeah, this is where this game is either won or lost throughout this next 8.5 minutes. Don't get me wrong, the Stormers side, they have got the ability of scoring quick-fire tries. But if Leicester score 2 times during this yellow card period, not only could it mean that the Leicester Tigers win, but it could also mean that the Stormers lose bad enough to miss out on the Champions Cup round of 16. They won't miss out on the Challenge Cup, though. Whoever loses this game is still through to the Challenge Cup the way that it sits. And can Sasha be trusted with kicking in clutch moments? Says Katzenel. He's nailed some good kicks in his time. Looks like Evan Ruiz is off the field. That is for Marcel Tennyson. Seems like a risky change to make with the fact that now they've lost Sasha and Evan Ruiz in a matter of about 3 minutes. The ball's there for the Leicester Tigers. Little knock on the ground. And there's a massive moment there for the Stormers. I think Stormers are sleeping the past 2 games, says Martin. You know, that last game up against the Harlequins, it seemed like a rarity. The 61-12 loss. Something that we didn't really expect to see too often. But a close game up against Leicester Tigers, it's probably, it bodes pretty well for this Leicester side. The moment they are $3.80 underdogs in a game that they were expected to lose by about 15 to 20, if not more points. They will well and truly take that, but it's still not enough. They need a bonus point, at least 1 from this game. If they got 2 bonus points, they can really put pressure on La Rochelle and mean that La Rochelle need a victory if they want to go through. Tigers got the teeth, says Roof. My take, Sasha should be left to play his game and leave the captaincy to someone else. I agree. I think he's still young enough that he doesn't need that pressure of being a captain alongside playing the normal way that he would. Marcel Tennyson is a tank. Our mistake replacing Ruiz, says Herbert. Don't get me wrong, getting Marcel Tennyson on the field is great. But at the same time, I still feel like Ruiz was maybe the glue that could have held this fullback together, waiting for Sasha to get back out. But then maybe they didn't want to give so limited minutes to someone off the bench. But if Ben Jason Dixon's still out there on the field, he actually is. I would have probably taken him off for Marcel Tennyson. Nothing against Ben Jason Dixon. I just feel like Ruiz's impact in the breakdown could be substantial, definitely in a 1-point contest. And probably not a good day to judge kicking. Windy in Cape Town today. Now that one's nicely taken by the Tigers. Good pressure in the breakdown though, and it looks like a great steal from the Stormers. Yes, it is. That may have been Marcel Tennyson who managed to rip that one away. Ball's still there for the Stormers. They are taking a little bit of a risk here, going aggressive here with the kick in behind, but Roach takes it on the halfway line. Couldn't quite get his offload away. Now going short side of Ahmad Khan. Going now, JD Schickling. Dylan Mudd, the cylinder dummy from the big man. Schickling scores. And that's the bonus point for the Stormers. That no matter what now, should secure them a spot in the Champions Cup. But again, the pressure is on La Rochelle. Because currently, the way that it sits, the Tigers receive 1 point and their points differential is better than La Rochelle's. Time on the clock's left. How many minutes? Currently 13 minutes remaining. But the big man with the sell of the dummy, that because of the dangerous threat of Dylan Mart on his outside, they knew they had to commit to someone, and you could see it there, the frustration for George Pearson knowing that he got sold one by a lock. I imagine if Stormers and Leinster lose, his Kahu would definitely open up this group. At the moment, Bayonne are still leading in that game up against Leinster, 10 points to 13. Leicester, you're the bester. What rhymes with Leicester? Pester. They could pester the Stormers' defence here. They had like a website there, some girls in the stands. They had like use code something for 20% off their website. I guess it's strategic marketing. Probably put it down as a business expense too. Have it as a tax write-off if you go into the game to advertise. Stormers luck run out. Says Martin, though, with this kick going over, huge for them because now they lead by 8 points, which does take a bonus point away from the Leicester Tigers. So they are going to need 2 tries here, or 1 try and something, if they do want to go on to win this game. Who's kicking now, says Mujahideen. I believe the kick there was taken by Luke Berger. I think it was anyway. Could be wrong. Uncle Fester. We have got there who's kicking now, says was there from Mujahideen. Now taken again by the Tigers. I mentioned how they had to score a couple of times during this yellow card period, but they have conceded once during the yellow card period. Instead, now looking to use their backline once more, looping around, looking for gaps. Can't quite find them. And the Stormers and the breakdowns have been very impressive throughout this match. That is one part of the game that you'd have to say has been a little bit above the Leicester Tigers. The fact that they have had multiple turnovers, create chances. Oh, big collision. Just round the side of the breakdown now, trying to get the turnover in the breakdown with the Stormers. They've been told to leave it. Now on the halfway line, Wells gets it back, looking for the kick in behind. It's going to stall in the air, and the mark is called by Dylan Mart. Maybe he's a better placed kicker, says Bruce, and Leinster ain't scoring again, so 1 bonus point if they don't concede, says Jimbo. Although they've got time. And don't get me wrong, by the looks of it, and what I've seen, they haven't had a huge amount of great chances. But 1 try would win them the game. Game done, says Hayno. It should be enough. Although the Leicester Tigers, they have had more possession throughout this match. So you'd assume, oh, great steal though. And that is nicely done by JJ Klitzia. Hit the ground hard, had a bit of a twist to the groin, but he's managed to get the turnover for his team. He's actually stayed down a little bit there too, Klitzia. Amar Khan going for the chip in behind, gives the ball straight back into the hands of the Leicester Tigers. Bit of a slip there for Hazel Collins. Tackled by Ben Jason Dixon, or at least he would have been before he let him through. But the knock on from the Tigers. Ball back in the hands of Amar Khan. Thought about a drop kick. He gets pushed over and they'll go back for the scrum. And the rain is starting to pour now in Cape Town. A bit of a weather change compared to the start of the match where we did see the sun out. Cape Town Stormers the best. Says Jeremy there, and Stormers play better with 14 men. They've had 8 or 7 or 8 entries for only 1 score. Terrible, says Jimbo. But they're a good attacking chance at the moment, sitting 20 metres out. I wonder if I actually watch them, whether they'll score a try. I've put it as the full screen one at the moment, while the Leicester Tigers and Stormers game, we're waiting for the scrum. And currently the score, oh no, they've just passed it into touch. Never mind, we'll just close that one again. Well, bells, ding, ding, ding. And watching from Kenya, says Joshua, in there as well. So it is greatly appreciated you tuning in for this fixture. 9 minutes remaining. The Stormers are leading, and they've got the bonus point secured. So they would get 5 points from this contest. And if Leinster go on to lose, it means that Stormers would sit top of the table in this Champions Cup group. Try scorers for the Stormers. They have had Andre Hugo Fenta, Evan Ruiz. We saw the try for Lelion Zas. And then the most recent try was a brilliant one from JD Schickerling after selling a big dummy and sending the Leicester Tigers fullback the wrong way. Bring back drop kicking goals, says Jimbo. And this is now a good chance for the Stormers to be able to extend their lead too at this scrum if they can get themselves the penalty. Ball is fed in. Big push there and penalty advantage for the Stormers. They can throw everything into this attack because that worst case scenario, they go back for 3 points. Marcel Tennyson passes on the outside. Bit of a slip there for Lelion Zas. I think the turf is starting to play a bit of a factor here too. Another try, please, Stormers, says Herbert. And Hamish, I said so, wet raining hard now, Thunder, says Ruth. Right. 90 seconds remaining of Sasha Feinberg Ngume Zulu's yellow card. They are going for the 3 points. Give this man a like. Like, says my Thai Tours, I should say. Just wearing down that clock that little bit more as well. Using up valuable seconds that the Leicester Tigers need to be able to get back into this contest. And if this kick does go over, in fact, it's Ahmad Khan, sorry, my apologies, who has taken the kicks. And Ahmad must score. What happened to SFM? He ended up... Oh, Leicester just scored, did they? Oh, sorry, Leinster just scored. Yeah, they did. Leinster just scored the try to give them the lead up against Bayonne in the closing moments. This does not mean that the Stormers have top of the table secured as of yet. It can be 40, says Mohadeen. But yeah, what happened with Sasha was he went into a tackle with the ball, extended his arm, hit the guy in the throat, and ended up receiving a yellow card. And now people know why they are called the Stormers, says Nerdy. You know, I can't believe how much the weather has changed. At the start, there was sun in the eyes of the players. Now they're dealing with the whole heap of rain falling into it. Sadly, as we 100% or 10,000% South African fan, Dobbo has been captured, says Marriott. If the Stormers win, are they going to be top of the table? Only if Leinster lose, but Leinster now lead their game up against Bayonne. Oh, there's a tail with a tape here, ladies and gents, because the ball has been charged down by the Tigers and they score to get back into this game. 32 points to 26. They now receive the bonus point, which does mean La Rochelle need to beat the Harlequins or receive a bonus point, or they are now out of this group. This is going to be an intriguing type of finish for Pool 3, and we're going to be covering that La Rochelle Harlequins game tomorrow. So we're going to see exactly what happens live as it does. But 7 minutes left. Leicester Tigers score their bonus point try. Bit of a gift. It's almost just a little bit too complacent or a little bit slow getting that ball gone. Now Searle with the kick. This one's quite crucial because it does take a little bit less pressure off that next kick. And does mean that they just need a try in general, but that one's going to hang out to the left, which does keep the score as 32 points to 26 as we now see Sasha Feinberg Ngume Zulu make his way back onto the field with the 6 minutes remaining, 6 points separating them. Yeah, it's Ahmad Khan who got his kick charged down by the big man Tom Mans who ran through. Managed to get the ball, but Leinster currently leading up against Bayonne 17 points to 13. They have currently got 4 minutes remaining in their match. It's kicked off long. The Tigers taking it inside of their own 22. They are up the wrong end of the field, though. They have to try and make those meters quickly, and they cannot afford to give away a penalty inside of their own half, or else that would give the Stormers the opportunity to get the lead by more than 7. Does Sasha Feinberg and Zulu do good as captain? I don't want to be too harsh because it is like a big opportunity for the youngster, but I would probably say no. I don't think he did the best as captain here. He's the only Stormer who's been sent off in this game, and he's gone into a shell a little bit. So I do think he's better without the captaincy. Don't get me wrong, down the line, I think 100% give him the captaincy if he does want it. But for now, I just don't know if it's the right time for him. I think he's better when he just gets to think about playing the game rather than having to also manage the team too. A great try, out half chip through for the other out half, says Jimbo. He's a Muscat neighbour for the coach. He got 6 minutes, Stormer, says Herbert, and the penalty. Oh no, Investec player of the match goes to Paul de Villiers. Does thoroughly deserve that award. I'm here in Cape Town and it's not raining on my side of town. Cape Town weather's crazy. It's perfectly hot too, says Ryan. So yeah, it seems like a real mixed bag in terms of what you get in terms of the weather, but it is going to be a scrum feed here for the Leicester Tigers around the halfway line. They are currently just inside of their own half. It's raining by me, says Mohadeen. Much better second half. These sides must have known that the fans wanted an entertaining game, and it has been absolutely that and more. Similar to what we saw between Poe and the Bulls in terms of how close it's going to be going down to the wire. would make it very intriguing if Leicester scored a try now, just in terms of whether or not there is a last-minute 3 on the cards for either of these sides. Or, I mean, if Leicester Tigers missed the kick, if they were able to score, make it even more intriguing. That is a big push. They've been told to use it, though, the Tigers, getting it out just in time. Backline movement, drop ball. The rain plays its factor. And that is put down by the number 10, Searle, I believe it was. Table Mountain in the background is a petrified tree. RL leaders normally do not display a shell that they withdraw into. See, as Casper leaders are leaders, those things should not affect them. I'm here in Cape Town. Oh no, I read that one from Ryan. And down to the last minutes now, Botting here. Currently 4 minutes remaining. Currently even less than that in the game between Leinster and Bayonne. Currently 90 seconds, and Leinster are again on attack. Looking to shut it down and make it so that Bayonne don't get a singular bonus point from the game if they can score again. 4 minutes now left. They are going back for the original knock-on. It is against the Leicester Tigers. The Stormers scrum has been strong. It's been one of their main parts of this game alongside the work and the breakdown that is down to someone like Paul de Villiers. We saw Ruiz feature as well a little bit. Possession and territory still in favour of the Leicester Tigers, 54%. They've had a bit more of the ball, but I would say that the Stormers still have looked the more dangerous when they get that back line functioning. I'm of the firm belief that back should not be captain, only loose forwards should manage the game, not the players. That is a big push in the advantage there for the Stormers. Offloaded there, Ahmad Khan. Can he break through and score the try? He's tried the grubber, he doesn't get it cleanly. They'll go back for the penalty. Now, once again, we talk about the table and how much can change in the near future. Leinster have just scored again, ladies and gents, so they have now won that game up against Bayonne. So looking at that, Leinster will sit top of the table and they will receive 4 points from that game. They'll be sitting on 18. The Stormers, at this stage, the way that it sits, they will receive 5 points from this game. They'd move up to 13 points. Leicester would receive 1 point for this game for being within 7 for now. That would take them up, or in fact, they receive 2 points. That would take them up to 7 points, which puts pressure on La Rochelle to find a form of bonus point if they were to lose to the Harlequins. Kicking for the corner here for the South African team, the Stormers. They are going a bit more aggressive now. Wait and see whether or not it pays off. Thanks for the warning. It's not raining in Rodenbosch, about 15 minutes from town, says Georgie there. Yes, if you got any washing out on the line, perfect time to bring it in before the rain does hit. That one's going to be uncontested at line-out time. The Stormers, it went down under pressure, but it is still moving towards the try line. Now it's gone down again, 10 metres out from the line. Ahmad Khan passes across to Ben Jason Dixon. Rush defence from the Tigers. If they give away a penalty now, I'd say that this game is gone. But for now, they have 2 bonus points. Sasha looking for the cross kick, looking out wide, and it's a very good challenge between both players. The ball was knocked on, I thought, by the Tigers first. First knock on by Green in the air. And it is going to be the scrum now for the Stormers again. Leon Zasi decided he wanted to push a Gabriel Hamer-Webb. And then now realised that it was the scrum to his team and gave the big A-OK with a smile. Who's your man of the match? I think that Paul de Villiers does definitely deserve the recognition that he got for that one. He's been strong throughout this game. He's done the little things right. That maybe they don't look flashy per se, but they're effective in those breakdowns. I also think that Jonathan Roach, the way that he started this game, if he had continued like he did in the first half and the second, for me, he would have been man of the match. He created that first line break, the opportunity for Evan Ruiz to score. He got himself a turnover in the breakdown as well. But yeah, there's been a few quiet workhorses out there on the field for the Stormers side today. JD Schickerling putting in an 80-minute performance, scoring the try at the end that helped the Stormers feel more safe and secure in this contest. Now another big push at scrum time. They are winning it every single time that it goes to the scrum, and now they have the opportunity. Currently 10 seconds past the 79th minute. They are calling for the scrum again by the looks of it. And come on, the Stormers, we need you to score, says Avril. Or do they? I'll be honest, in this scenario, would the Stormers rather see the Leicester Tigers or La Rochelle through to the playoffs? If you're in that scenario, you might say maybe the Tigers might. Well, but then saying that, this is the secondary Tigers side and they took them to the wire in this match. So maybe they would prefer La Rochelle in there. How'd JC Marsh do? Says Lareki there. Oh, JC Marsh off the bench. I haven't seen him, to be honest with you. Leon Zas is still out there. He must be on the other wing, but they haven't really gone out there. So, yeah, I just don't think he's touched the ball, really. Or at least he hasn't from the ones that I have seen, anyway. Whose ball? It is going to be the Stormers' ball. They are sitting 7 metres out from the Leicester Tigers line. Bayonne versus Leinster has come to a close too, ladies and gentlemen. The Leinster side getting the victory there. Comeback win. Oh, JJ Kutsia got an ugly cut on his forehead there. And we have got the Hamish commentary of today's tonight. For both matches, says JD. Are the Quins safe? Theoretically, they should be, yes. They would be top 4 still, even if they were to lose up against La Rochelle. But it's more so the question of who's going to finish where. The Stormers, they will be sitting in second. Whether or not Harlequins, I don't think they can be overtaken by La Rochelle, so it pretty much confirms Harlequins is third in the group. But now, going off the back, Ahmad Khan, great step from him, reaches out and scores the try. It takes away the bonus point from Leicester, which now means La Rochelle, they only need 1 bonus point from their game up against the Harlequins, and they will move through to the next stage. All South African teams won, says Mohadeen, so it means that Leicester Tigers will make their way to the Challenge Cup. The way that it sits, more than likely, although we have to wait and see what happens in La Rochelle versus Harlequins. Of course, the Harlequins, one of the more unpredictable teams around. He would do great if he gets game time, JC Mars. Yeah, he just wasn't really given much of a chance in this match, unfortunately. Stade Rochelle will be ruthless against the Harlequins, says Dennis. Well, they'll know that all they need to do is score 4 tries. Even if they lose with 4 tries, they still go through anyway. La Rochelle, but they've got a good opportunity of being able to leapfrog a few sides in terms of moving up that little bit further. Well, not really. They can only finish 4th, but we'll see how they go. In the rankings, the Stormers out of the Champions Cup. They are not. They have qualified for the round of 16. No confirmation of who they will be playing yet, but they will finish 2nd in their group unless the Harlequins win tomorrow. Then they would finish 3rd, but that kick has gone over from Sasha Feinberg and Ngume Zulu as well. The end score in this contest, 39 points to 26. So glad the Bulls finally got a win. Says Casper, yeah, at the moment, 2 from 2 for South African sides throughout this weekend. The Lions are playing just around the corner up against Perpignan. Now, we're not going to be covering that one on the channel, but I will be keeping a close eye on it. Next game that we are doing will be at 9:30 a.m. South African time tomorrow, and that is going to be the matchup taking place between South Africa and I believe they are playing Poland in the women's semi-final of the Sevens. Then following that, we have got the matchup taking place between Samoa and Belgium, and then also Canada versus Hong Kong too. And then the finals and whatnot taking place afterwards. And for the Champions Cup, we've got Bordeaux versus Bristol. We've got La Rochelle versus Harlequins, and then maybe Glasgow versus Saracens, depending on if I'm pouring concrete in the morning or whether it's going to be hopefully that little bit later. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for this contest. The Stormers booked themselves their spot through to the Champions Cup round of 16 alongside the Bulls. The Sharks miss out, more than likely, depending on what happens in that Toulouse versus Sale Sharks game. But we will have to wait and see. There is still a half a chance that the Sharks can go through, but more than likely they will be in the Challenge Cup alongside Leicester Tigers and also some great sides. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for being here, and I will see you all for the next one.